something about the meter. You know, the meter's outside. And I don't know why, I just somehow Googled smart meters, and the first thing that came out was health concerns, health risks, and then I put smart meter, health symptoms, and all my symptoms, I mean, there's just like 2 and 2, like I put together, like it was crazy.
So you called PG&E. What was your experience with that?
At first we called, I filed a complaint, and they tried to tell me that smart meters don't emit any more radiation than a cell phone, than anybody that, you know, if you're like in a grocery store and someone's using their cell phone next to you, that it's the same amount of radiation that you're receiving, and that they've been tested by the Public Utilities Commission and by all these other people, and they just gave us something vague, like in a couple of weeks we're going to call you to make an appointment.
So you asked them to remove it, and they said, oh well, we'll get around to it.
They said we're basically in a couple of weeks, and that they can't basically give us a date, and then we kind of called like 3 or 4 more times, and they didn't want to make an appointment, and that's when I talked to you, and he said talk to the superiors and tell them what's up, and then that's like that day I just kind of told them I need a date.
So you have your analog meter back in your house now?
They came the next day and they changed it. So.
And you're feeling better?
I don't feel my skin that's burning anymore.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man. You know, this should never happen at all to anyone, and you know, we're working to educate the public, but you know, take your experience, and you know, we encourage you to talk to other people about it and warn them, you know, because they might be having similar symptoms and not realize that it's connected to this. So
I have, but people seem like they say smart meters. When I tell them what I've been going through, they seem like not to relate because they're not feeling anything.
Right.
So they're like, oh, you know, somehow you're too sensitive to something.
Yeah.
I'm the different person.
Yeah.
Maybe it's affecting them and they don't even know what's going on.
You know, there's a certain proportion of the population who's sensitive to this stuff, and the fact that some people are being harmed is a warning to the rest of the people. Even if you can't feel it, it might be doing harm, you know, and that's the point we need to make to those people.
Not them, to their babies.
Exactly, or their grandfather or grandmother, because of the, you know, elderly and the people who are ill are more vulnerable to this stuff, you know. So
it's sick. It was crazy when I found out.
Yeah, it's pretty. The whole situation is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Trying to spread the word now. Basically.
Right on. Thanks for telling your story, man. Yeah.
I'm on my way home from summer camp workshop, and I get a call. Your house is on fire. And by the time I get there, they're cleaning up. But what happened is, in my opinion, looking at the damage, the electric smart meter blew up first because there was...
It blew up.
There was brown smoke, typically brown smoke, some pop, and then flames. But then there was a big kaboom, and that was the gas. So later on, when I was able to see what happened, the smart electric meter was basically solder splatters, not enough even for the investigators to take, and the gas smart meter, the gas meter was a puddle of metal about the size of a brick.
And where do you live? What city?
Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek.
And the thing
is there a fire report about this?
Yeah, the chief of police just said, smart meter fire, turned around and never paid any more attention to it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, gee, I wonder.
Yeah.
I have to find out if he's had more of these. The thing that bothers me is in this subdevelopment, houses number 6 and 7, 8 and 9 have the smart meter on the master bedrooms. And it's the wall that doesn't have any windows. So that means the meter would be right by somebody's head. Well, it seems like it's going to take a death before anything happens.
Well,
we did our research and we wrote letters to PG&E saying we didn't want to have the smart meter, and now we don't have one, and we have to pay money every month.
How do you feel? How do you feel about?
It pisses me off. It really does, because I pay money now every month to have the meter that I had for years.
So paying something for nothing, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paying something for not getting the potentially cancer-causing. So I have a penalty for not putting something in my house that might hurt me. They haven't shown me any evidence that it is